Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the museum. I'm Blaise Michtal, the National Security Director at the Bipartisan Policy Center. And it's my pleasure to welcome all of you here in attendance today, those watching on C-SPAN and online, on a beautiful Monday morning after a glorious weekend here in DC with no traces of the swamp. And it's very easy to be hopeful on a day like today, and so we're happy to be discussing a very hopeful topic and releasing our paper on building prosperity, stability, and security through strategic health diplomacy, a study of 15 years of PEPFAR, a paper co-authored by former Senate Majority Leader and BPC co-founder Tom Daschle and former Senate Majority Leader and BPC Senior Fellow Dr. Bill Frist. For those of you who are new to BPC, our mission is to actively seek to combine the best ideas from both parties to promote health, security, and opportunity for all Americans. We drive principled and politically viable policy solutions through the power of analysis, negotiation, and advocacy. Today, we'll be talking about PEPFAR, which has been a strong example of both bipartisanship and strategic health diplomacy for the past 15 years. Indeed, this is the second time that the BPC has looked at PEPFAR. In 2015, we released our inaugural report looking at the effects of PEPFAR, both on health and U.S. national security interests. And we're returning to it this year in 2018 for two hopeful reasons. The first is that PEPFAR reminds us that the United States does not have to choose between pursuing its own interests and helping others in the world. As you'll hear more about our report's findings and their implications during our two panels today, you'll learn that PEPFAR continues to be associated with improvements in socioeconomic development, public opinion of the United States, and measures of governance, stability, and civil society engagement in countries that receive those investments, all helping promote U.S. interests. Further, new in this report's findings, we have reports on PEPFAR's effect on diplomatic engagement, informed by 15 in-depth interviews with current and former U.S. ambassadors to PEPFAR countries. And we also include a new analysis that explores PEPFAR's role in the response to the 2014 Ebola outbreak in West Africa. In short, as our co-chair so eloquently put it in the report, PEPFAR tells us that America does well when it does good in the world. But secondly, and this is particularly important to the BPC, PEPFAR reminds us about the importance and the continued ability of Washington to find bipartisan agreement on important issues. PEPFAR received truly bipartisan support from its original authorization in 2003 through its reauthorizations in 2008 and 2013. And for those of you counting, we are indeed due for another reauthorization later this year, and we're hoping that PEPFAR 4.0 will be just as strongly bipartisan. So if you missed them on your way in, we have copies of the report and executive summary available at a table by the front door, as well as online at bipartisanpolicy.org. This event is being streamed by C-SPAN, and a recording will be made available later on our website. We invite you to interact with us on Twitter about today's event using the hashtag BPCLive and the handle @BPC_bipartisan. At this time, I invite you to turn your attention to the screens for a brief video from the George W. Bush Institute commemorating the 15th anniversary of PEPFAR. Thank you.
"15 years ago, the HIV/AIDS pandemic threatened to wipe out an entire generation in Africa. In the face of preventable death and suffering, my administration firmly believed we had a moral duty to act, and we did. In 2003, we launched the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, a work of mercy beyond all previous international efforts to help the people of Africa. Over the past 15 years, thanks to the generosity of the American people, millions who would have died are living full and hopeful lives of promise. We are on the verge of an AIDS-free generation, but the people of Africa still need our help. The American people deserve credit for this tremendous success and should keep going until the job is done.